I just want to talk about like how much of a cultural phenomenon Paranormal Activity was, and how like it became like has like its own freaking series, or, like movie series. There's multiple movies about this one movie, and it's crazy how they produced this movie. But yeah, let's get right into it. So basically, the whole movie revolves around Katie and Micah, and then their misadventures with Ghosty Ghost or Ghosty Poo. I think that's what I'm gonna call him. Katie has been haunted by an unseen entity since she was a child. After moving into a new house, they begin experiencing strange and terrifying occurrences, especially at night. Night one, the first few nights show small disturbances as doors creaking and light flickering. Here they are. Night three, the couple is woken by a loud bang, though they don't see anything. Night 5, Micah discovers unusual sounds and slight movements of objects, confirming something's happening in the house. So, Katie, concerned, brings in a psychic named Dr. Fredericks, who warns them that the entity is not a ghost but a demon that feeds off negative energy and has likely followed Katie her entire life. He suggests that they avoid antagonizing the entity and consult a demonologist. Micah, however, dismisses this advice and decides to handle things on his own, which is basically just putting a bunch of cameras everywhere and then hopefully getting a glimpse of this demon, like, demon caught you fucking red-handed. Like, I don't know what Micah's plan is, but this is the basic plot for the movie. Micah sets up cameras in their bedrooms to record the nightly events, hoping to capture the paranormal activity on tape. The footage reveals more intense disturbances, footsteps near the bed, the door moving on its own, and the sounds of growling, crazy. Micah tries to provoke the entity by using a Ouija board. Despite Katie's objection, this only makes the situation worse. The Ouija board literally gets caught on fire. Like, here's a special effects. Now, this is like more building onto the suspense of the movie, where like the activity just escalates. Night 15, Katie is dragged out of bed by an invisible force and down the hallway, leaving her traumatized. Micah rescues her, but she begins acting strangely, seemingly falling under the demon's influence. And then on night 20, the entity's presence becomes even stronger, with Katie standing beside the bed for hours in trance-like state watching Micah sleep. And then Katie becomes increasingly erratic and Micah's powerless to stop the demonic presence. So, night 21, the final night, Katie rises from bed and, possessed by the demon, she screams downstairs, waking Micah. When he rushes to her aid, a struggle is heard. Micah's body is thrown violently into the camera, and Katie, now fully controlled by the demon, stands over his corpse and smiles eerily. The movie ends and with a test card stating that Micah's body is discovered by the police, but Katie's whereabouts remains unknown. So apparently, there's supposed to be 2 endings to this. There's multiple endings. Several alternate endings were filmed, which gave the movie its unique post-production flexibility. The original ending was more of like Katie is shown sitting down beside the bed for several days before police arrive, shot her, and find Micah's body. However, Paramount Pictures and Steven Spielberg suggested a more dramatic, terrifying ending, which was basically getting like a little jump scared of like an axe coming your way. So that's the basic plot of the movie. There's a bunch of dead air just for the movie to like build suspense, and I think the movie did really well in just building these like dead air expense. Here's an example. Wow, crazy. But this movie was like a cultural phenomenon. Like most freaking state, or like most counties, or like most areas wanted to watch the movie. They're all like, hey, we kind of want to watch this movie because like it's like a really popular subgenre in horror films, and it's really hard to get done well. But this is 2007. Like, what else was happening in 2007? I think we had movies like The Mist, Halloween, which was like a really bad reboot of Halloween. And the house was actually the director's house. I think if I can find it here. Yeah, the entire film was shot in Oren Peli's own house, located in Rancho Penasquitos, a suburb in San Diego. So I guess the San Diego part's real. But it literally was just filmed there just so they can keep the cost low. Let me talk about the budget of the movie. The movie was weighed at a shoestring budget of $15,000, but like the actual like estimated like cross or like literally like the whole franchise is about like multi-million-dollar franchise. So Oren Peli, director, wanted to create a realistic claustrophobic horror movie that relied more on suspense and subtle scares than on traditional jump scares, like how old horror movies are. or expensive special effects. The idea was inspired by his own experiences when he moved into his new home and felt uneasy about strange noises at night. So basically, this dude's all like, okay, my house, I don't feel that safe anymore. You know what? I can make a movie out of this shit. The script was written by him, the movie was directed by him, and funded by him only for $15,000. But he showed it off to this film festival and Slamdance Film Festival. And it was a film included in the Screamfest horror film. And ultimately, Paramount, like, hey, saw potential of this movie and bought the rights for it for $350,000. So they basically, the first person tripled it, or like, you know, did a good amount of money to, you know, get the film out. Oren Peli, you know, he films out of his way, but the film grossed over globally $193 million, which is such an insane number for like a $15,000 like budgeted film. So that was mostly the budget of the film. Now the setting of the film was Oren Peli's own house, right? He's like, since he, you know, he got inspiration from his own house, he's like, you know what, I gotta, you know, do my own house, gotta like set up everywhere cameras, right? So the house itself, like in the movie, it became its like own character. You just like, you get all these weird ass shots of like the house just staring into it, or like you see the camera tick down, but you only like, it only builds up on the suspense of like, hey, you're just watching this empty house, and then some random noises coming out of nowhere, and it just scares you. So it was like the house was really good on building suspense, and the filming style of the movie was mostly like found footage. Like a great homage was freaking the Blair Witch Project. Great movie actually. They made a sequel. They didn't really like the sequel too much, but the original was actually worth to watch it. Maybe I can make a video about that one if this one does good, like maybe 50 likes. But other than that, sorry for the self plug, but yeah, it was inspired by the Blair Witch Project, and basically like the movie just looks super granulated because it was filmed in a Sony FX1, like literally just a home camera anybody could buy. Going back to the cost, the actors were actually Katie and Micah Clough were not widely known for their time, but were chosen partly because of their natural everyday personas. They were paid $500 for like the whole movie. But the movie was like filmed in like 10 days, which is like insane. But it just, you know, it built up on like the suspense of like, hey, we got to finish this movie fast. And the actors were filmed for 7 consecutive days, and most scenes were shot in 1 or 2 takes, enhancing the feeling that the audience is watching real people in real situations. In the movie, there's barely any special effects. Like, I'll be surprised if I can even find one. The special effects were not there, and that really, you know, gave time to like, hey, we don't really need to spend money on the special effects because the effect was just literally bang, suspense. Talking about like having no effects, literally many of the effects were practical and done in camera with simple techniques. For example, this door was moved using an nylon string that were visible to cameras. Footsteps in the baby powder were made using templates or cutouts to create the impression of non-human prints. An object like keys or lights were manipulated off camera or rigged with fishing lines for movements, this is, I'm pretty sure this is just a fishing line in this scene where they have to peel off like the friggin' sheet, and then this sheet literally somebody could just like fishing line like pull it out of like this thing. It was really simple effects. But yeah, the film crew was basically Peli, his best friend, and his then girlfriend. Preparations for the movie was mostly Peli spent a year preparing his own house for shooting, including repainting the walls, adding furniture, and building a stairwell. And makeup, since the whole movie was shot out of order, makeup was done in 1 day, and then that 1 day they had to make multiple shots of like what the script would be doing, right? So it was very like fast, very side hustly. But concluding the movie being out, it has major success. A sequel definitely happened, or sequels have definitely happened. Paranormal Activity 2 was released in 2010, and it saw even more success. So they just kept on riding the bandwagon until now, where it's, I think, the most recent thing from Paranormal Activity, still owned by or not a movie series, but TV show series, still owned by Paramount. It's in Paramount Plus. Paranormal Activity Next of Kin is their like latest release of this like franchise. Yeah, Paranormal Activity 1, which sprawled, you know, a video game sequel, and just made Paramount just a lot of money. Just I'll probably make a video about Blair Witch Project for now. Thanks for listening to me, and hopefully y'all have a good day.